B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Today I wanted to talk about such a fundamental and important subject, which is why should I be modest? And this week's Parsha Ki Tesa, we're just a few weeks away from the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and we live in such a sad society where modesty used to be so part of our society, Jewish, non-Jewish, and it's not a virtue. People don't blush anymore. So why should I be modest? The answer is very simple. Look at this week's Parsha, 5th book of Torah, Devarim, chapter 23, Pasuk 15. It says, a Jewish soldier must act very dignified. Just like he has a sword, or in modern day, a machine gun, he also has to carry a shovel with him and go far away from the camp of the Israelites and go to the bathroom and cover his excrement up. Why? The Torah says in Pasuk 15, Tet Vav, Ki Hashem Elokecha mitalech bekerev machanecha la'atzilcha. God is always amongst our camp to save us and to destroy our enemies. And by golly, we got a lot of them. We got a lot of those enemies. And he goes and he clears the way from them. V'haya mechaneh kadosh. Therefore, the Jewish camp, the Jewish home, the Jewish wedding, the Jewish get-together has to be holy. Why? God forbid if God sees lewdness, half-nakedness, nakedness, non-modesty, God turns away from us. So, the worst cause of Holocaust, where we say, where's God? Why is God not with us? Well, the Torah is telling us very clear, when God sees we act lewd and nude and unashamed and dressed like animalistic, where He runs away from us. He turns away. Why? Why is God so sensitive about this? And the answer is because we Jews, we have a holy soul, a neshama, which has unlimited potential for godliness and holiness. Therefore, we have to act dignified. Obviously, animals don't need to cover themselves because they don't have a soul. But a person, since he does have a conscience and a neshama, a soul, he should feel ashamed of his private parts because he has a certain dignity where we don't show off what must be covered. And this is from the sin of Adam, that he realized that we brought evil thoughts and non-kosher thoughts in front of us. So the answer is very simple. When we're not modest, we're showing in the name of God that the most powerful treasure that He divined in us, our neshama, we're acting like it doesn't exist. And make no mistake, a person should be ashamed of his inappropriate acts. And once you're walking and talking and dress is like an animal, then anything goes. That's totally unacceptable. This is the antithesis of the Torah. The Torah says every action should be holy, should be dignified, should be godly, angelic. And therefore, it is so, so important. Never in the history of mankind was it under fire. People have just forgotten to blush. And it's such a tragedy because there's no shame. And it's really, really destroys the whole family. It destroys the whole concept of holiness. Holiness can only exist when there's dignity. Dignity can only exist when there's modesty. And people are ashamed of the mistakes they make. And make no mistake, the Queen of England has a dignity. And she doesn't walk around half nude, because somebody that is high class, that is royalty, and every Jewish woman is a queen. It's such a shame where you walk into these weddings and everything that should be covered is exposed. And God forbid, God is very, very merciful, but everything is accounted for. And we need God so desperately on WhatsApp, on emails, we see there's 50 people to pray for because they're sick. I'm praying for 10 people currently that have cancer, including my own father that's in remission. And we Jews are all on one boat. We have to realize that the most precious thing we have is the Torah. The Torah, the inside of it is the soul of the Torah. The Torah has a beautiful cover, but 1 second that you're not reading from the Torah, it has to be covered. Something that's precious, that's a diamond, we use security, we cover it. Because we human beings have a precious soul. Therefore, we have to be dignified. And my Rosh Yeshiva said something so important. He says one of the biggest mistakes people make about modesty is they think it's only for men. For women, I apologize. And they only think it applies to dress. No. Modesty is just like humility, like to be agile and run after mitzvot. Men also have to be modest. Of course, for women, the Gra says it's like their Torah. Women don't have necessarily a mitzvah to study Talmud and Kabbalah like men do, but the most mitzvah they have to be meticulous about is to be modest in their mannerism, in their dress. And modesty is really inside. It's not a show-off, oh, I have a long dress. If you have a long dress that's pink, we should know we don't need to be the center of attention. A man that flaunts his wealth, his muscles, his Mercedes, his house. We live in a Instagram and Facebook society where everybody's showing off their vacation, and it's not right. Modesty applies equally to men and women, and it applies to all areas of life, that we shouldn't make people feel inferior. And there's something holy and unique that private body parts, it's so special that a woman only should show her hair or her most intimate parts to her husband. Not that we show it to the whole world. And that creates such a unique specialty, which is the bond of a husband and wife. So may Hashem help us. Like the prophet says, what does God demand of us? One of the greatest Jewish prophets, Micha, says, if you want to encapsulate the entire Torah, run after justice, love kindness, and walk humbly and modesty with God. Even when you do a mitzvah, you should be modest, and the whole world shouldn't know about it. It should be private. So for sure, in physical mannerisms, women shouldn't show off their body parts. Men shouldn't show off their muscles or their wealth or their what God has meant to be dignified and private in the confines of a family and a bedroom. And may Hashem help us to fight for the truth, because we're the only lasting hope to preserve what God wants. And when we are modest, this causes God to bless us with the greatest of all blessings of peace and prosperity and safety. And may God give us to all of Israel. Amen. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.